Hello, and welcome to JDTV News. On our show today, we will have a story on Pillars of America.
Also on our show, we'll tell you about OSOG and Music Fest.
All that and more on JDTV News.
Welcome to JDTV News. Now, you may have heard about something called Pillars of America. It's this thing where people talk about stuff, but they're important people, and they're talking about important stuff. And
maybe I should talk about this one. The Pillars of America series is starting up soon. The first speaker is on April 30th, and the next speaker is a week later on May 7th. Robin Benacasa is an elite athlete who has reached the podium twice in Ironman races and was Rookie of the Year at the Fortune 500 pharmaceutical she works at. The second speaker, John Buldao, is one of the Lost Boys of Sudan. He attended school for the first time at age 17 and was selected to be able to emigrate to the United States. He now lives in Syracuse, New York. The application process is easy.
It's a luncheon where you're sitting down at a table with members of the business community in town, so you not only have to dress up and eat politely with knives and forks and everything else and get a nice meal, but you also get to talk to the folks at the table and maybe start networking with the business community.
The applications for students to attend the Pillars are due today, so make sure you get those in before 3:45. The JDHS music classes have gone off to Ketchikan on a 30-hour ferry ride just to get what they have been waiting for, Music Fest. They arrived on Wednesday after departing Juneau at 4 a.m. Joining them are about 500 other students who are from all over Southeast Alaska, who will also be performing. All students will be performing in each of the choirs they came in, and in front of them will be judges who will be deciding who has it and who doesn't. But we, of course, have nothing to worry about, although we should wish them the best just the same.
for those who don't know, the OSOG Spring Conference is being held at Eielson Air Force Base in Fairbanks right now. It started yesterday and will end on the 12th. OSOG is the Alaska Association of Student Government. Principals, student leaders, and their advisors from all over the state are invited to the conference. During the conference, students will learn leadership strategies, listen to motivational speakers, and interact with each other and other student leaders from all over Alaska.
Are you looking for an extracurricular activity or community service for a class or resume? Let's go to Kendall for more.
In a variety of classes, teachers ask students to obtain volunteer hours or expand their daily activities. I spoke to Torrin Ulrichsen about one type of community service.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is a mentoring program where we match teenagers and adults up with kids ages 16 through 17. Important because it gives kids extra support and an extra adult who they can talk to and get advice from. And then for high schoolers, I think it's beneficial because it looks good on your resumes and applications to college. And seniors can't do it, unfortunately, because they can't make that year commitment because they're going to graduate.
In recognition of our graduation, join me in moving our tassels from the right side to the left side of our caps.
There is an application. We do like to get some references. We do have to get parent approval if you're under the age of 18. And then there's just a short interview where we talk about what the volunteer likes to do for fun and what kind of age they want to be matched up with.
To make being a big easier for the high school students, students from JDHS are matched with students from Harborview, and students from Thunder Mountain are matched with students from Riverbend, so they can walk over quickly. If you enjoy being around children, this is a great opportunity for you. Torrin did stress her opinion about commitment and not just doing it to get volunteer hours.
Torrin hopes that this information will encourage next year's freshmen, sophomores, and juniors to join their program.
Now, moving right along, we have Cheyenne here. Tell us about the sports.
Why, hello there. I have some important news to share with y'all, and it's sports. And sports. Don't you just love sports? I love sports. Well, today on sports, there's been lots of soccer and more soccer. But before we move on, let's jump back to last week's scores, and yeah. Okay. On Friday, it was JDHS versus Ferris. The scores were 1-4. Well, dang. On Saturday, it was JDHS versus Meade with the tied scores of 3-3. Third time's the charm. On Monday, our boys' soccer team went off to Washington. I love Washington. I went there once. Anywho, it was JDHS versus Cleveland, and the scores came out 3-0. Today, on our girls' soccer team is competing against Eagle River. What an interesting name. It's Eagle and River. Tomorrow, there are 2 more games. 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? Our boys' soccer team will be versing Eagle River at 10 a.m. and later in the afternoon, our girls' soccer team will be versing also Eagle River. Good luck to all the players, and back to you peoples, Kyle and Keegan.
Now, on to our calendar. In today's events, the girls' soccer team plays Eagle River. Also, the OSOG Spring Conference is still going on, and Music Fest is also still in Ketchikan. Tomorrow, both the boys and girls soccer teams are playing Eagle River.
Next Tuesday is Calculus Camp, and the girls soccer, JV, and varsity teams are playing Thunder Mountain. Also, pink slips will be due. Next Wednesday, there will be student recognition in the library. Now that we are done with that, let's move on to the weather for the weekend, brought to you by Miriam. How's it looking out there?
Thanks, Kyle. As you can see on the satellite map behind me, it's looking pretty clear today. However, there will be some clouds moving in later in the weekend. This weekend is looking pretty sunny. Today we have highs of 53 and lows of 24. On Saturday, it's mostly sunny with highs of 52 and lows of 25. On Sunday, it's cloudy with highs of 51 and lows of 26. Now let's take a look at Eagle Crest. As you can see behind me, it's looking pretty clear up there. It's 42 at the base and 156 inches at the top. Eagle Crest is looking pretty busy this week with an empty sled run for 2 veteran ski patrollers that passed away recently, the closing of the season, and of course Slush Cup, which you can see covered here on JDTV News next week. That's all for the news and weather. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Miriam. Don't forget that for testing last week, you would have needed your school ID. If you need to pick up a spare, be sure to have one picked up at the attendance office.
Well, that's all we have time for today. To visit our archive of past shows, you can go to jdhsvideo.org.
Also, you can follow our Twitter feed with @JDHSvideo. Be sure to tune in next week to see Zach and Jade talk about the Slush Cup and more on JDTV News.